What's up, everybody? Once again, it is I, James, coming to you from the Nerdy Musings podcast studio. Today, we have the return of the infamous Justin Mason. You may know him from Rogues Gallery, Spider-Punk Arms Race, and some kind of secret thing that involves the thing that is in the works that he probably can't talk about a whole lot. How you doing today, Justin?
I'm doing good, man. How about you?
I'm doing great, man. It's good to have you back on,
Yeah, man. It's been a while. I was trying to remember when the
bro.
last
You were
time was. It's
you
been a
were the
minute.
second episode.
Okay, yeah. So it's been a while.
This is gonna be, I believe, the 48th episode.
Dang. Yeah,
So it's been
you've
a
been
little
busy.
while.
You've been
we've been
busy.
keep,
Yeah.
yeah, we've been keeping busy here. Yeah, I had all sorts of amazing people on, and I just can't believe how many people keep saying yes to coming on. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, lots of pro artists, lots of writers, lots of very creative people, collectors. Like, it's just fun to get on here and chat and hang out with you guys and
Right.
learn more about what you do and why we love comics so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Best place
Sp-
to be.
Speaking of our love for comics, we just did a little original art exchange here.
Yep. Yep. I'm waiting on the double page spread upon it. I can't wait. Ryan all these pencils.
Ryan Otley's pencils over Greg Capullo
Greg
layouts.
Capullo's layouts. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's perfect.
That talk about a killer combo right there, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just probably gonna be glued to those 2 pages for a good minute. When I get
I'm telling you, I started having second thoughts when I took it out and I was looking
oh,
at
yeah.
it. I'm like, oh man, I gotta take a little scan of this so I remember that I had it. No, I didn't actually have any reservations about it, man. The art that you sent me is just phenomenal.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah. I mean, that Spawn and Heart piece, I still
That's one of
looked at
your
it and I was like,
best.
yeah, man, I really, that Nia
Yeah.
was on it that day.
Yeah. My
It was
wife
on
saw
point.
that. She's like, "Oh my God, the detail on this." I was like, "Yeah, the little Instagram that doesn't do that stuff justice. When you see the actual pages in real life at the full size and just all the painstaking detail and little I wouldn't say they're imperfections because they're things that actually brings a quality to the work, right? Like
Right.
I think when you're an aspiring artist, the first time you see original art and you realize the size that it's done at,
Mhm.
and you see that artists are using whiteout to do things
Yeah.
and how they're pulling off the things that they're doing, it's so cool.
Oh yeah, yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like whenever you look at something online, it just looks perfect.
Yes.
But then in person you can see it's like, oh, we're not perfect. We make mistakes but there's ways of fixing it and there's ways of making it look cool just by weird, like you said, whiteout
Yeah.
splatters and just weird lines.
Yeah, and if you want to do as Dan Fraga would say the tradigital method, where he goes in, he does some traditional, he goes back to digital, he puts it back to traditional. Like he's all over the place with it. Like he's
Yeah.
working on his Black Flag book right now, and he's jumping back and forth. But that's a whole other set of tools to go in there and
Yeah.
fix mistakes and correct things, and if you need to. So me personally, I kind of like digital for layouts just because of that flexibility, but
Yeah.
there's just something about going on the actual page. Like it just doesn't feel right when you're on the screen, in my opinion. To me,
No.
I've tried really hard to get used to it, but it's one of those things where it just there's some, even if it's a small disconnect, there's some kind of disconnect there for me.
Yeah, I can't. I've tried it myself. Like I've thought of what if I could ink something digitally and I've given it as much as I could, the effort,
Yeah.
but like you said, there's just not that connection. Like I need to feel that resistance with the
Yeah.
paper.
Now, what were you attempting to ink on? What kind of device were you using?
the iPad on
Yeah, see.
Procreate, and
And that's the thing, man. That's the closest. The iPad gives the closest feel of any, because I've used them all. I've
yeah,
used the Wacom tablets back in the day
yeah,
when they were first coming out. I've got this drawing monitor, this big ass thing over here, like, and the iPad's like the closest one to what it actually feels like drawing. But again, it's
yeah,
that slippery glass and everything, and the
yeah,
pen gliding on there. It's
yeah,
just one day somebody, maybe will. I know they make those screen protectors and stuff that supposedly
right.
make it feel like paper, but even that's not, it's just not the same.
Yeah, because I've got one on mine, and even still, like you said, it does it it makes it close, but it's not there. But
Yeah.
there's something about traditional. It just I don't know if anything will ever top having that real piece of paper, but who knows? I mean,
Yeah.
they keep growing, keep updating stuff.
Yeah, they keep refining things. I wish they would kind of upgrade the old stuff. Like make a pen that works with the old one. Don't make me buy a new iPad to get the new fancy pen that's going to make
I
it feel
know.
like actually drawing.
Yeah, they want that money.
Uh, I'm telling you, that's what it's all about. Speaking of the drawing on actual pages, we were talking about the original art, and we were chatting a little bit before we hopped on here about how much trepidation I had in mailing that haunt double page spread, because I'm like, man, there's only one of these. And yeah, I paid for the crazy, insurance and all of
Yeah.
that, but if somebody tries to, decide to run over it with that FedEx truck,
Oh man.
it's not going to be good. And you were saying it's even scarier when you were first sending out like, stacks of pages to your art rep to
Yeah.
have them put on their site and everything. Walk me through that a little bit. Now let's start out. Any horror stories, or has it all? Let's not jinx it. Maybe we want to knock on wood here before, but
Yeah. Let's knock
has
on
it been
wood.
pretty? Has it been pretty smooth so far?
So far, it's been smooth, but I there was a very close call, and so this was when I was with my last art rep, and I sent it out to them, told them about it, and I guess they didn't keep up with the tracking and when it would be there. And I noticed, I was like, oh, okay, it's delivered. Like I said, I had a stack of art,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, I want to know, is it there? And they're like, oh, we're not even home yet, but we'll let you know. So I'm just patiently waiting, like freaking out, like, oh my gosh, I hope it's on the porch like it says, nobody picks it up. Well, it was raining down there,
Oh no.
and the box was on their porch, and it was in a puddle of water.
Oh my God.
Luckily, I'd wrapped it in like saran wrap, or like the
See,
plastic wrap, and
that's smart, man.
bubble wrapped it, and I mean I overkilled it, but it saved it. So
Yeah.
you know, luckily
Yeah.
nothing got damaged.
You got big props from my wife when she saw how you packed it. She's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, the saran wrap, that's smart in case it gets wet." So
Oh
see,
yeah.
you
Yep.
were on top of it there. Yeah, we
Yeah.
actually, you might recognize some of the packing materials that your page has come in, because
I'm
we
just
we we repurposed your setup. It was
I do
very
the
well
same
done.
thing. I do the same thing. Whenever I get something from somebody, if it's something I could reuse, oh, I'm gonna do it. I mean, if it's good, but yeah, I mean, and it's good to like know for future use.
That's what I'm saying. When I saw how you did it, I'm like, okay, well, if I ever sell a page, or
Yeah.
if Kirkman ever reaches out to me for that Invincible page, did we talk about that before?
I don't know.
Ryan Otley reached out to me and said, "Hey, has Robert Kirkman messaged you yet?" And I go,
Oh no
"No."
way.
And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "He wants that page where Invincible's on the toilet." And I told him, "You're the one that bought that." And that's like my wife's
No
prized
way.
page. Like, she loves that page. It's actually framed in our guest bathroom where he first eats he eats the alien food and gets the
Yeah.
yeah. And so Ryan's like, "Yeah, is he and I go, "Well, number one, no. And two, I probably wouldn't have believed that it was actually him It was
Right.
like, hey, this is Robert Kirkman. I'm looking for this page.
It's like, yeah, is this a fake account?
Yeah, exactly, right.
Holy
So
crap.
yeah, you never know. I might need to really ship something off like that one day. And I was studying how you
Yeah.
did your packaging there.
If he ever, yeah, contacts you, I would do that plus
Plus,
make sure it's bulletproof.
maybe hand deliver.
Hand deliver to you.
maybe, maybe in a with the briefcase with the
Yeah.
handcuffed to my wrist.
Yeah, they cut your hand off just to get it.
I'm telling you. Well, if they get through me,
Well, true.
they might deserve it.
Yeah.
So I was going back in my memory banks, and I can't even remember. And we might have touched on this the first time you were on, but I can't even remember when we first started chatting. It's been years and years now. It's been at
Oh
least
man.
eight or more years. Like when did you break in and get your first pro work?
First pro work was probably like 2020. I mean, and I
Okay.
consider that like DC was like the first
Yeah, I
pro.
remember that.
But I'd worked for
And
like,
that was in like that Christmas special, like a little
yeah,
backup story type of thing. And
yeah,
you've done a couple other little things before that. But
yeah.
I want to say, man, like it was probably like in between like 2015. It was a few years before you ever went
Oh
pro.
yeah, yeah. I'm pretty sure it was quite a while back,
Yeah,
and I
I
think it
feel
was
like it's 8 to 10 years ago.
definitely, yeah. I'd say it's leaning towards that. So it's been a long while, you know.
It has, and I got a Kylo Ren sketch cover you did on an
Oh man.
Obi-Wan. Yeah,
Oh my
I
gosh.
got
Yeah.
that, and in looking at that, it's just amazing how far you've come.
See, I don't even remember what it looks like, but I'm kind
I'll
of
send
curious
you a
now because
picture.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
probably. I look at stuff, from just a few years ago, and I'm like, man,
yeah,
it is
and it's
crazy how
amazing.
much,
Like
you
it's
know.
great, but where you are now, it's just such a stark contrast.
Right. Right.
And I kind of wanted to bring that up, that contrast, because I noticed on this. So you've done, Rogues Gallery, Spider Punk, the second Spider Punk series, and you did Sentinels most
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
And your style in Sentinels, I remember reaching out to you and commenting. I'm like, oh, you're doing some different stuff with the rendering, and kind
Yeah.
of, I really like that. That was giving me some '90s vibes
Oh yeah, man. Like
with the
they.
cross hatching and everything.
Oh yeah. Like I probably went a little too crazy with it.
No, it was
but
just
I
right.
but I with that book they let me have fun with it. They just and it's one of those books that was new characters, so it wasn't somebody that I had to felt like I had to follow a certain path with. Um, but yeah, like and I had made my decision to just do complete nib. So I did that entire book with a 102.
No
That's it. I
brush.
mean,
Well,
well, I mean a
brush to fill
brush
in blacks or something.
that and maybe just some big strokes here and there. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was just that. And yeah, like I went pretty dirty and on everything, lots of lines, like you said, really trying to push that 90s bar a little bit.
Yeah, it
And
was.
but and they liked it, they enjoyed it. But whenever they offered me the thing, they immediately was like, let's
Let's
pull
not
it
do
back.
this.
Let's
They're
so
like, here,
yeah,
look at this Walt Simonson run.
yeah, yeah.
Look at some Kirby. Look at.
It was actually John Byrne.
Oh, okay. They wanted
They were
you to kind of pattern a little bit after the burn, not pattern, but more that vibe, right?
more that vibe. And I'm not saying I'm really keeping to it, but I pulled back enough where overall they just wanted a
Yeah.
cleaner or sleeker look. So
So more in regard to the rendering, they didn't want a lot of
yeah,
heavy cross hatching and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Just straightforward stuff, and it's fine.
Yeah.
It's still fun, but I do miss throwing all those lines on everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got to be different for you, right? Like, and one of the benefits of that, like, it might not be as fun for you, but I know, like, the colorist when they go in there, sometimes that more open line work allows
Yeah.
the colorist to kind of go in there and render and kind of, they step up their game a lot of times when they're
Right.
presented with art like that. So your colorist on this might have a lot of stuff that they can play with as well. So it's kind of
Yeah.
that trade-off, right?
Yeah. And no knock to any colorist, but I feel like just personally, I haven't found that one colorist that, what I mean, I mesh with,
Yeah,
because I feel like my style's still evolving and I'm messing with different techniques. So I guess it's probably harder to lock down like what I'm trying to do.
for sure.
But we did lock down a colorist on this book who's a very long time seasoned pro,
Well known.
very well known, very well known. And so I've got very high expectations, but I'm pretty sure
Awesome.
they're gonna do amazing. So
Well,
I'm excited.
it's cool that you got hooked up with like a legit like known colorist, because I'm noticing with a lot of these books lately, it seems like, and I know this happens, they outsource a lot of stuff to like these teams or these colorist
Yeah,
groups, and
yeah,
wherever, somewhere in the world, and
yeah.
just to get the stuff knocked out. And one of the things I've really been noticing in a lot of the books lately is the colorist like not having a basic understanding of lighting. So
Oh yeah,
like the artist will have a shadow over here, but
yeah.
they'll put shading on the other side,
Oh
like
gosh.
like the shadow on the other side of the nose, and I'm like, no, that's not how light works, buddy. Like,
Yeah,
I'm no pro, but I can tell you, you're rendering something that would not exist. It's not like they're doing a bounce light or something. It's like
yeah,
they're legit putting the shadow on the wrong side when it should be. And I'm like, oh my god.
yeah, yeah. It's the little things. I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to. We're not trying to knock any
Not
colors,
at all. Not at all. Let's not get
but
ourselves in trouble. Any colorists that want to come on and talk about this. Now, I'm supposed to actually have Alex Sinclair on, which will be a huge one. Sin Color, that does all Jim Lee stuff.
oh yeah,
He's supposed to be coming on here, so I'm gonna definitely pick his brain about what he thinks about the industry standard for color right now.
I mean, yeah, you should definitely pick his brain because he might have some stuff coming up that you might recognize.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
You know,
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
yeah,
Yeah, he actually. So I paid actually for him to do a commission for me, a full figure commission of Hulk.
oh, okay,
He was up here at Emerald City Comic Con in Seattle, and I had chatted with him on Instagram about coming on the podcast, and then I went to, I met him in person, and he was doing commissions, but I my back's been giving me problems. I've been having this sciatic lower back thing, and I looked bad, man. I was literally limping around the con the 2 days we went. In long story short, he couldn't get it done. He wasn't going to have it done till Sunday, and I wasn't up to going up again on Sunday.
yeah,
And so he's like, "Oh, I'll mail it out to you for free once it's done," and all of that. So
yeah,
yeah, just we're coordinating getting him on here and getting that commission done and mailed out. But I'm really looking forward to what he does with it, because
oh yeah,
like people don't realize, like, most people who are like dedicated, like they just ink or they just color, they're artists within their own rights too, and
oh yeah,
a lot of them pencil, a lot of them do great
yeah,
work. So I'm
yeah,
interested in seeing what he comes up with.
oh yeah. I'd like to see it myself. So yeah,
Yeah, he
whenever
said he
you.
was gonna do something like on green paper
Oh
or
wow.
something. So I'm really curious.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
pretty. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
So the project that we're kind of alluding to and saying things without saying things, I'm assuming it's safe to say it's within the wheelhouse of Fantastic Four, because I saw the Thing and some of your little teasers and everything.
Yeah, yeah. They announced it just like 2 weeks ago that
Okay,
it's a new thing series. Um,
perfect.
it'd be a 5 issue run, and it's set in back in the '80s. So we're kind of going back to some old school. It'll be fun. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
lot of characters people
And I have
recognize.
all
So
these questions popping into my head, but I know you're not going to be able to answer them. I would just say I have a feeling that they're kind of doing this to I think they're smart to be doing Fantastic Four related stuff kind of with the movie in people's brain,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, yeah. They
Granted, that one's in an alternate world, like in the '60s, I believe.
yeah,
But I think it's smart. Like, if you're gonna do a movie about the Fantastic Four, like you're gonna get people that are wanting to go and seek out the comics after that. So
exactly.
if you don't have some stuff on the shelf, what are you doing?
Exactly. Yeah, and I think I just seen that they announced the new Fantastic Four series with
Yep.
Humberto Ramos was on it.
Yep.
So I believe it's who it was, if I'm mistaken.
Yeah, I think so. Who's
So I
also
mean,
phenomenal.
yeah. So yeah, I'm glad to see that. Like you said, they're like pumping out Fantastic Four thing, just anything related, just get it out there.
Yeah.
You know.
So it's transition for you. I mean, you've gone from basically, well, you've done a lot of kind of team books now. Come to
I feel
think of
like
it,
I
you've
feel
done a
like
lot of
it's
team
yeah
books. Now,
yeah
now this has other characters, appearing in it, but would you consider it more of like a singular character focused type of book?
yeah definitely. Like you said, there's definitely familiar faces, but it's probably my first solo,
Nice.
type book. I think I guess I could consider it that. But yeah, it's because I think I've gotten so used to drawing team books that my mind is thinking of panels and every like where
Yeah.
everybody's standing.
Got to squeeze everybody
You got to
in, right?
squeeze everybody in, and now my mind is like, okay, there's so much open space because there's only one character or two.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, I need to start understanding. I need to fill the gaps now.
Yeah.
You know.
I go back to looking at some of that '90s stuff,
Yeah.
the old image stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
You're just gonna have a huge figure just on
Yeah.
the side of the page, just standing there for no reason, and then some
Yeah.
panels.
I would love to do that too. But I feel like they're just trying to push just
Yeah.
the great forward. But yeah, I want. That's what I was trying to do with Sentinels. Just all those lines. Like I just want to push the '90s so much.
Well, you need to
You
you
know.
need to do your own create your own book here soon.
Yeah.
In the
And
future, in the near
I
future.
I've got some. I've definitely been stewing on it. I'm thinking
You
it might be
creative
something.
guys always do. You always got something in the back of your brain itching to get
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Finding someone because I'm not a writer like at all, but finding that person that can help you write, who I think I found, I think that we might be able to cook something up that's amazing.
Well, it's kind of, all about finding somebody you vibe with. You
Yeah,
kind of have similar, not similar personalities, but similar tastes and things, and
right.
kind of the genres that you like and everything, and just making those ideas mesh up. So,
Yeah.
I'd be supporting anything you do. Do you think if you did something like that, you would want to do it on Kickstarter or something? Or are you thinking maybe you pitch it to Image or, I mean, there's so many options nowadays
Yeah.
for you when it comes to creator owned. Substack, like all that stuff
Right.
is there.
Yeah. I didn't actually consider Substack, but my mind always just goes to Image. Like I feel like that's a great place. Like, because if they say no, then sure I'll take it somewhere, do
Right.
something. But I just feel like Image is just
Yeah. That's
you
the
know
first one that pops into my brain
right.
for
Yeah.
anything like that. It kind of feels like, why wouldn't you? Why
Exactly.
wouldn't you
Yeah.
at least try,
Try. Yeah, because when I was trying to break in, there was a lot of indie writers I was with, and I'm immediately like, let's pitch to Image, like let's
Yeah.
figure something out. And that's just because I'm trying to level up, but they were always just trying to find the secure thing and like, oh, let's stay down here at this little indie press, and
Yeah.
because I'm for sure it's good. And it's like, yeah, you've got that for sure, but try
Yes.
something more first, just in
You've
case.
listened to too many Todd Talks.
Yeah.
You've heard too many Todd talks to be meek and mild.
Yeah,
You're like, let's jump off this cliff and see what happens, baby.
exactly.
I love Todd. Every talk he gives, he has those few key things he hits on about going for it and taking the
Yeah,
risk and everything. It always
yeah,
gets me pumped.
yep, yep.
Yeah. Speaking of Todd, man, that I hope to see you one day on Haunt,
Oh
because
man,
you have such a great grasp of that character, and I know you got a lot of love for that character. So
oh
you
yeah,
know, we just anytime we can, we gotta manifest it and put it out there. So how much
yeah.
would it mean for you to get on a let's say this, maybe it's not even Haunt, but just any work for Todd.
Oh, anywhere for Todd would be amazing, But I just want to put it out there, like Todd, I love you. Just let me work for you one day.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
but yeah, man, what? If I could do just a mini series with him, like because I don't know if he got his own run, but last I checked, he was in Team Spawn and or
Yeah, he's
Scorched or
been
something like that.
crossing over in some of the other books they've been doing, I think.
If they would just let me just take the reins on just a little 3 to 5 issue miniseries, something maybe he done in a different time. I don't know.
Yeah,
Let me just I'll give you something good, like because
for
I feel like
sure.
we need to go back to Cthulhu, Otley, that
Yeah.
hunt. Like that's what we need. So yeah, if
Oh,
I could
for
do that,
sure.
that would be amazing.
I still go back and look at that stuff that they did, and it was just so phenomenal. Like,
Yeah,
because, Greg's layouts and his selection of camera angles and the way he
yeah,
does his shots and his action and everything. And then you combine that with Otley, and he's like Mr. Action with
yeah,
all his stuff and the
yeah.
gore. And that
It
was just a
was
killer combo.
yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like we got so lucky to have those two dudes do that together. Because well, I mean, and then after Ryan had to jump off, which is understandable, but Greg was, gosh,
Yeah.
destroying it just as much with his work. I mean, beautiful, beautiful stuff. I've really been tempted. There's just so many times. I don't know if you've been on his website. Last I checked, he had that double page spread. I can't remember which issue, but it was massive. It's like that monster. I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, everything's blinking, but I don't know. But it basically haunts jumping over buildings in the snow with the woman on his shoulders, and
Oh,
it's
okay.
very Spider-Man esque. Where he got
Yeah.
the pose, but it's just a
I think I
beautiful
know
double
which
page
one.
spread,
Yeah.
and he's got it for sale. And I have been very
Oh, man.
tempted to take that. Gosh, it
Yeah.
is beautiful.
Shoot, I would pay good money just for Greg scraps. Just
Right.
some little sketch on a post-it note.
Yeah. Gosh, I know.
I
Those are.
remember there was one of the cons when I worked at the Spider's Web comic shop back in the day, and when they brought Greg out and a few of the other guys, he had like had a double page spread from Spawn with him that he was trying to finish to meet a deadline.
Oh my
And it
gosh.
was like he was inking it and finishing it up, and
Yeah.
it was like just insane seeing his level because like we're talking about the when you get the page and you see the actual detail and you see it in
Right.
black and white and everything. I was like,
Oh man.
holy crap, dude, how do you do this?
That had to be
It
amazing.
was yeah. And that was when he had, you know he was far enough into it where he was doing his own style,
Really.
where Todd was enhancing his, with his inks and stuff, but
Yeah.
very much was that the version of Greg that we know now. Because like the stuff when he first drew Spawn, it was very similar to the stuff he was doing like on X Force and all of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And then he like just completely let loose when he got with
Right.
Todd, and
Oh my gosh. I know. Like that. That's what I think. I think there was a. It's probably from like the '60s and '70s
yeah,
issues of Spawn up until like 100, and it was like that. It's pure gold. That era.
yes.
Gosh, it's. I
Again,
don't.
more that I go back and look at all the time. Have you
Yeah.
been appreciating getting to pick up some of his Wolverine revenge stuff that he's been doing? Have you had a chance to look at any of it?
I picked up the first issue and I haven't picked up any since. Like I've been bad
You've
lately,
been
but
busy.
yeah, I've been busy. But I mean, what I see, it just looks amazing,
I'll just tell you
fantastic. So
the art is phenomenal because it's
great,
Greg.
yeah,
You know, he has a different inker that I don't think he's really worked with on that, so it's not his usual inker. So it's a little different, like
yeah,
but it's still very much
still there.
within that spectacular,
Um,
Capullo art.
yeah, is it Townsend or something or
Yeah, I think
Is it
it's
Lee
Townsend.
Townsend?
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
and Townsend didn't Townsend do? He was on Joe Mad.
was that who it was?
He
Yeah.
well, he did some issues of Battle Chasers, some of the later issues of
Oh,
Battle Chasers. I think it was Townsend. Yeah, so it was
okay.
phenomenal inker.
I
But
mean,
I
he's
think I feel like
yeah,
it's the first time I've seen him work over Greg.
yeah. I don't think I've seen him, but um, yeah, like whenever they first announced it and they showed some inks, they didn't say who was inking them, and there was so many people in the comments like, "Oh, it's him, it's him, it's him," and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm not familiar with his work enough to know, but it was nice
Yeah.
to, I guess, to see people recognize his inks,
Yes.
but he was still able to capture Greg's, you know,
Yeah, totally. And it's phenomenal, phenomenal art. The story's kind of I don't know, like some people aren't liking the storyline and all of that, but
yeah,
for me it's driven by the art. So I'm like
yeah,
I'm on there.
yeah,
The annoying thing was though when they did those red band things, which is a really cool idea,
yeah,
but then I buy all my new books on Comixology just because I don't have room to like my collection. I have such a big collection now, and it's all like my old personal collection, and then a lot of old Jack Kirby stuff and stuff like
right.
that. I'm acquiring, and I don't have room to go in every week and get new books. But the Red Band, they only released it in the shops. You can't get it on Comixology. You can't
Really?
buy
Okay.
that version. So the Red Band version is the one that has extra pages of art,
I
extra
didn't know that.
panels,
Okay.
extra panels of gory stuff
Wow.
they won't show in the normal version.
Oh man. So I
Yeah,
guess you have to go specifically find those and look
but
for
they're
'em.
all sold out.
Well,
Yeah, so I got one. I think I got one of them. It's like issue 2 or 3. I was able to snag it. Yeah, you can find them online. Like people will post it, so you can see like the comparison, and
okay.
it'll be like 2 or 3 panels that are different, maybe a page at the most added,
Yeah.
like extra. So it's not a lot, but
Right.
there's some crazy like basically Wolverine gets completely disintegrated and then he's partially formed back, and it's
Oh
Greg
man.
drawn this like anatomy chart level of skin being gone and the exposed muscles and all of that, and it's just like, oh my god, just phenomenal stuff.
Yeah. And then that's what I'm glad, because I know we talked about before. It's nice to know that other people are just I'm in it. Like if the art pulls me in, I'm in it.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
story
same.
cannot even be that great. But if the
Yeah,
art's there, you got me. But
it,
I'm just bad. It's like if the story can be phenomenal, like it could be the best story ever written. But if
yep.
the art don't hold up, I cannot stick with it.
So you and I are amongst the like 9 out of 10 artists I've had on here. I always ask that question,
Yeah.
and they 9 out of 10, it's exactly what you said, and I'm the same
Okay.
way. I've
Okay.
only had like 1 or 2 say that they're okay with the art being subpar if the story's great. I just
Yeah.
can't. I can't. Gags are a bad, maybe too extreme. It's like I was say, I can't gag my way through, if the art's horrible and the story's great. But yeah, definitely the other way around, I think works better. If the art's phenomenal
Yeah.
and the story's a little meh,
Yeah.
you can still go through there because you got those great visuals carrying you through.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is. It's like a comic is a visual medium, so it's like it has to pull you in first.
Yeah, I'll pick up a
Everybody
book if I
has
want great writing.
exactly, exactly, and everybody has different tastes, sure, but I mean, there's still that thing where that art just isn't there, or it's like the style wasn't for that story. There's always
Right.
different, always be different things.
Yeah. So with your going back to this Thing book, your version of the Thing, are you going for the super big and blocky like
Uh,
style, or we just gonna have to wait and see? I know you're doing a lot of stuff with the shadows and stuff that
yeah,
that really intrigued me. It was really cool.
yeah. So you know the
Because
as far as like
sometimes when he's portrayed, he's like the size of the Hulk, and then
yeah,
other times
yeah.
he's more of a squatty, kind of guy. So
I think I'm trying to do a mix of it. Like he's not that huge, but he's bigger than a normal guy.
yeah,
But like there's simple things of him walking in a room or something. It's like I don't want him like feel like he's got to squash down. He's
yeah.
big, but yeah, he's not that big,
He's
and
not.
and I
He's
feel
not.
like
He's not. He's not ducking through doorways or
yeah,
anything like that.
right. Or maybe they just make a special door just for his size.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm kind of doing a mix of everything. I'm not doing crazy like how Kirby, shadows on every block or something. Um, he's a little smoother, I guess, with that with me, but and his face is really one of the things I had trouble with. I've always had trouble with because I don't know. He's one of those characters I didn't know how to interpret. How do I want to
Right.
interpret him? But I think I've figured him out. I'm on the second issue, and I'm halfway through it, so I think I've figured it out finally. So
Well, the stuff you're posting, it looks great.
I,
I
I'm
feel
glad.
I feel like you captured the essence of the character, 100%.
I'm glad, yeah, because he is such a he's such an important, recognizable character, and I didn't want to draw him away. It's like, what is that? Because I'm not the biggest fan of the new school style
Yeah.
thing. I definitely like the old school. Like his big brow come over, just and in basic shapes too. Just a round head.
Yep.
Because I think it was John Byrne. There's a picture you can find online. It was him doing a tutorial how to draw the thing, and it's just straightforward. Like it's just shapes, and that's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to
Simple
stick with.
shapes.
Simple shapes. Just try to stick with that.
Yeah. I think that's what works with him. I think when people try to overdo it and try to make him too emotive, or
Yeah,
too much expression and stuff, like it just doesn't work. And I think we've seen that like in some of the stuff they try to do with him in movies too. Like
yeah,
they try to make him look a little too human sometimes, and it's
yeah,
like that balance. He can't be too much just blob of rocks, and he can't
yeah.
be like superhuman looking. He can't look like a regular human,
Right.
through all of that too much either. So finding that balance, it had to be tricky for you.
It was. It's it's just one of those. Like I said, one of those characters. I wish I'd had more time, but it was a sudden thing they just threw on my lap. So
Yeah.
and I went to a show here a couple weeks ago, Lexington Comic Con, and I sat with Brian Stelfreeze,
Oh,
and
nice.
I
He's
got to.
amazing,
He's
man.
amazing. Yeah,
Dude.
yeah. I mean, you can
Again,
seriously, yeah, you can pick his brain, and he's a gold mine. I swear.
yeah, I got one of his art books, and it's just like mind blowing.
It's so good. But yeah, I mentioned to him about that, just drawing thing and his brows, and then because I thought about this, but like I said, it was just one of them like, here, hurry, take off with the pages, so you just got to kind of go with it, and it's kind of
Learn
line
on the
work.
job.
Yeah, so you got yeah, exactly. But he was like, you should just get some clay and model his head, and I'm like, I really should do that. That would get
Yeah.
the shadows just right. Yeah, I might try to do it eventually. I don't know.
I was actually talking to Ryan Benjamin about that. He was at the Emerald City Comic Con as well, and I was talking to him about, like, I've always heard there's a benefit into getting into sculpting if you're an artist, because it teaches you how to turn those forms in
Yeah,
space in your head. You kind of
Mm,
make that connection more if you're physically creating those shapes, and then when
yeah,
you're later on trying to visualize them and see how they move in space and how they change in perspective and all of that, it kind of helps
yeah,
you build that connection.
yeah. Um, One of the things that, before I ever broke into comics, just trying to learn what I could, go to like a atelier or something like, like a
Yeah.
painting,
Yep.
like real classical thing, but they would do sculpting too and sculpt. Um, they have a term for it, but just a figure, the
Right.
muscles, everything. And I get, like you're saying, it was just simply to just connect your mind with that form because you see it, you're moving it.
Yep.
So, and I always wanted to do that, but I never did. But I think it
That's
would be
same
something
here,
helpful.
man. I keep hearing how beneficial it is, and my wife actually likes to sculpt, and she has all the
Really?
stuff, and she makes like cartoony things. She did make a humanoid figure though; it actually turned out real good. She had me draw it, and then
Okay.
she made the armature and
Oh yeah,
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 and yeah. So I kind of got no excuse other than time management because all the stuff's there. I
yeah.
could do it. It's just like, all right, add it to the other thing, the list of things I don't have time to do
Right.
or I need to make time to do.
No, I get it, man. My editor just the other night was like, like something about what comics are you reading here? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
And I'm like, man, I don't have time to read comics. Like, I've got a stack of them,
exactly.
But yeah, it's just time management.
Yeah. Well, since we're kind of on the in the lane of technical aspects of things, there's something you mentioned earlier that I actually have a question about because I'm doing a group shot. I'm working on a young blood cover idea just for fun because with the new young blood thing coming out here
Yeah.
soon, I kind of it just took me back to the image days and that excitement. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do a young blood cover, but
Yep.
then I realized I've never really done like a group shot. So
Yeah.
you were talking about group shots and
Yeah.
thinking in that frame of mind of placing the figures, and then when you have figures of different sizes and things all standing together.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna try to walk through this together. We'll see if I'm correct in my understanding. If you're drawing a group shot, obviously you pick your angle, your camera height, all of that. Are you picking a point on the characters that you are running the horizon line through to give you that frame of reference for their height? Like I know some people will do the eye line, and if
I see
there's
what
a
you're saying.
character behind them and he's like two heads taller, he's going to be two heads above that eye line,
Right.
right? And that's how you show the difference. If you want to have the figures all the same size, no matter whether they're in the foreground or background, you
Yeah.
match that line on all the characters, and then that gives you that proportion all the way through, whether they're close or far away.
Right.
How much are you thinking about all this, and how much are you just winging it and doing what looks right? Like, because I have Badrock in there, I have Shaft kind of standing in the front, I got Die Hard, but I'm like trying to get that to look correct with them standing in different, ones in the foreground, middle ground, background type of
Right.
thing. What are some tricks, Justin? Is it all just trial and error?
It's definitely trial and error because, to be honest, I don't think about much of that stuff. I don't know why. Like, I probably
Now,
should.
let me ask you this: did you think about it more when you were newer to this,
Oh yeah, like
and then you
because
got kind of where it's like second nature, and you can kind of eyeball it? Like,
yeah,
because when you watch Jim Lee draw, that guy isn't putting perspective grids and things. He
no,
just he just goes for it, and it looks
yeah, he just
great.
yeah,
But he's Jim Lee.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, like for first starting out, like think back to Cthulhu, he done that crash course thing, Wizard magazine, and then
Yes, have all of
one
them
of
still.
one of them was about that the Horizon line, and he and I remember him the way he explained it. It was just a really easy way for me to just grasp that. It was like just imagine like if the clothesline and you're just hanging people from the clothesline
Right.
on that certain area, like you said, it can be their eyes,
Y-
it could be
yep.
their
Shoulder
shoulders,
or whatever. Yeah.
waist. But so yeah, I thought about it a lot back then, but I feel like in particular, if you're doing a group shot like that, I don't like to think about it because I'm just more thinking of is this cool, the cool factor,
Yeah.
like yeah, you want it to look that character's bigger than this guy and this, in relation. But I feel
Yeah.
like if you could just that's why the digital layout part of it, as long as you can just kind of get that small thumbnail and it looks relatively close, but
Yeah.
print it out on the board and then just pencil it and just then start shaping it from there. But yeah, I try not
Yeah.
to, especially like I said, those shots or like if it was a cover. I just try to think the cool factor, like Todd would probably say. Just
Yeah.
what's good,
Totally.
what's cool.
Well, and here's the thing. So when I started going down this rabbit hole on that, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna look up covers that have group like team shots on them,
Yeah,
and then I'm gonna try to see how much of this fundamentals they are doing, and how much of the perspective is right. It's all over the place. I'm like, oh, that's not reality, right? Because it's
yeah,
comic books. It's like you said, it's
exactly.
supposed to look cool. And
Yeah,
I'm looking
exactly.
at this, I'm like, that figure, if he's standing there, he shouldn't be like that because the perspective's wrong, but it looks really cool and he looks way bigger and this guy look
Yeah,
so yeah, then it's like, okay, we'll just kind of stay within the bounds of what
right.
is realistic, but like because you gotta have the part I had a little trouble with was making the characters look grounded. Like
Yeah,
they got to look like they're all standing on the same plane,
playing right.
you know. So I think is would you agree? Like as long as you kind of give the impression of that, you can kind of do whatever in regards to that within reason.
Yeah, like I guess the relation thing I don't really think of, but I do think of that play, like you said. As long as there's something like that grounds it, that I feel like is
Yeah,
should keep them all together. But that's why group shots, I imagine most people do them low camera, looking up, sort of
yeah,
usually, because there's some jumping out up and then there's some running at you. So as
yeah.
long as you got that ground type, it usually
Now, do you
works.
usually ground them with shadow? A lot of times,
Um,
is that the method of grounding, or what do you think of in that regard?
like it could be you could use shadow, but there's actually stuff that like Daniel Ward Johnson he does now or does and I've picked up on it, but it's like using on the plane, the ground, doing the speed lines, but
Oh
then the
yeah,
bottom of their feet, you don't have a line. It's you'll draw like their feet to the plane,
and then that,
and there's a white area, so there's nothing, but them speed lines are actually
yeah,
making that line for you. So there's no
yeah.
connection, but it almost, I don't know why it does, but it just looks like they're planted on the
It
ground.
does. Yeah, his
Yeah.
figures look very grounded. Yeah, I was watching him. I think on his stream right now, he's working on that sci-fi project he's been working on for many years, like
Yeah.
his own personal project. And so he's got some stuff, and I was like looking at it's very inspired by like the movie Dune, and you
Mhm.
can see like the architecture and this crazy. I'm like, dude, he's like freehanding it. He's like just going in with the ink. He's barely got
Yeah.
a little sketch there, and he's just inking all these cool futuristic looking columns and
Yeah.
shapes and
Yeah. I've not actually kept up with his stuff lately. I need to check that out. But
yeah, so there's a great podcast called Off Panel.
okay.
This guy, I think his name is David Harper. He's a great interviewer. Like he has a lot of artists and writers on, and I just started listening to that podcast. And the most recent episode was with Daniel Warren Johnson, and
Okay.
he talked about all sorts of stuff. And they kept coming back to a little bit this sci-fi project he's working on right now. So now I'm all
Okay.
excited, and I'll probably end up spending hundreds of more dollars because I got that Extremity Artist Edition laying over
Oh
there.
yeah.
Have you seen that? Oh my
I've
God.
wanted to get it. I've wanted it so bad.
You will. You'll get it and you'll be blown away.
I'm telling you, it almost makes me want to put up the pen. Just I'm done.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things we always say in jiu-jitsu. I tell people comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah, yeah, that
Like
is
when
true.
people want to compare themselves to the other guy in class that started around the same time they did, and they're
Right,
like, "Oh, coach, he's getting good so quick. He's already got 2 stripes on his white belt or whatever." And it's like, well,
right.
you're here 2 classes a week. He's
Right.
here 3 times a day.
Oh yeah.
You your perspective is your reality, right?
Right.
So in your brain, he's only there when you're there. But
Yep.
he's
Yep.
also there 5 other days of the week that you're not there, and he's there 2 or 3 times that day on those
Yep.
5 days a week. That is a false metric. You cannot
Yep.
compare yourself to that guy.
That's true. That is
Us
very true.
regular people, so it's like, but people, yeah, if you do that with art, man, you would just
Yeah.
hang it up. All of
Yeah.
us would hang it. Like, why even try? Like, you look at Kim Jong Gi, you look
Oh,
at
yeah.
who's the other one? Simon Bianchi,
Oh
or
yeah.
Simone Bianchi,
Yeah.
God, Chris Stevens, like
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. Who's the guy that does like the Iron Man designs and the paintings?
Oh, Ryan, is it Ryan
Oh,
Mindering?
he's fantastic
Or
too. The
there's another
original.
one.
Yeah, the guy that
Oh,
it's on tip of my tongue.
I know who you're talking about. I can
But
see it
his
in my head.
yeah, but his paintings are every time he posts them, I'm like, God, that's beautiful. But I try to look at
Oh,
it like
you talking about Andy Park?
not Eddie Park, no.
Okay, he's also. We're just listing off like
They're
uber
great,
phenomenal people.
phenomenal, but 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 yeah, but I try to basically what I'm saying is I try to look at them, you know, not in that way, but like they make me want to do that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I think that's a good way to try to look at it because, like you said, if you just compare yourself, yeah, and that's what a
yeah.
lot of young artists do, just starting out. Like, I
Well,
go to a
because somebody's
con,
looking at your work and doing the same thing right now.
right?
You
And
know,
I'm looking at
and
myself
you're
like,
sit.
you know,
Yeah, you're sitting here thinking like, man, I ain't squat. And then they're
yep,
like, oh my God, I could never be as good as Justin Mason. Look at this stuff on Sentinels.
right?
Oh man, he inks his own work. Like, oh, I could never ink my own. So it's all
It
that
is, yeah.
frame of reference you have.
I like going to conventions though because, when you get those young guys come up and, they're showing me their portfolio, I don't feel worthy of that, but I am, it means a lot that they want my advice. And
Yeah,
I try to push as much as I can. Like, like, look, you can do this as long as just keep trying. But,
yeah,
it does, like, they say that kind of stuff. It's like, man, how you do that? And it's, I don't have an ego at all, so it don't feel no head, but it goes in my heart and it just, like those guys, I don't know. It's a
yeah.
good cycle, I guess.
It really is. You're giving them something to aspire to,
Right.
and
Yeah.
that's healthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aspiration, and aspiring to attain a certain level that we think we could never attain.
Yeah.
It's a great thing. Now, comparing yourself and getting defeated because I'll never be
Right.
that good,
Right.
that's the wrong way to look at it. So, just as you and I, aspire to one day be as good as Daniel Warren Johnson, Kim Jong Gi, name
Yeah.
any phenomenal guy we'll never be as good as. Aspiring to be that is good because
Yeah.
you keep working, you keep trying harder, and you
Yeah.
keep plugging away, and it's always great no matter how good you get to be aspiring to do better.
Yeah. I had an artist tell me years ago that if you ever get to a point as an artist that you're good, like if you just feel in your mind, you're like, how I can really, there's nowhere else I can go. You might as well put your pencil down because
Yeah,
we never. we never will achieve what we want to achieve. You know,
Yeah.
sadly, like we should always want to grow and be better and want to understand more. So I'm
Yeah,
just
and
accepting that.
you don't want to get complacent, right?
Yes,
Like
yeah,
if you get a comfortability can be a killer, right? It's like you
right,
get too comfortable and complacent, you're not pushing yourself, you're not striving for new heights. Like it doesn't really give you a reason to keep going. I think
right,
that's why people get like quote unquote burnout or whatever.
yeah,
It's like they're just not putting that bar high enough for themselves. Maybe I see it in jujitsu too. I know I keep drawing this back to jujitsu, but I know you're a
oh yeah,
martial
I'm
arts
all about it.
fan,
Yeah, I'm all
MMA
about
fan. Um, it's like people will put this goal in jujitsu because in BJJ, getting your blue belt in BJJ, that's the first colored belt.
it.
But it's
Right,
like it could take you as long to do that as it is to get a black belt in another style. Like 2 3 years just to
yeah,
get to your blue belt, right?
yeah,
And so it could be this thing where if that's your highest goal is I want to be a blue belt. Well,
yeah,
once you get blue belt, it's like, okay, I achieved that, but then what?
right,
Like I tell guys, your goal, it's an unattainable goal. It should be overall mastery of all things grappling.
right,
If your goal is overall mastery of all things grappling, you will be training the rest of your life because
yeah,
that is an impossible goal to attain. And you just keep
yeah,
showing up, you keep going, you keep working on things, and you'll have plenty to work on forever. I'm
yeah,
28, 29 years in full time on, training in BJJ, and I still don't know it all. I still feel the same way when I look at some of these guys, these masters. I'm
yeah,
thinking the same way you are about Daniel Warren Johnson. I'm
yeah,
like, man, I'm never going to be that good. I think it's healthy to
yeah,
to
yeah,
to keep going though,
right, right. Yeah, I mean,
and
just always
to
just trying.
recognize that there's always going to be somebody out there better.
Right. And but that's it. Like you said, just as long as you're just keeping your eyes up and you're just trying to achieve more, shoot for more, that's all that matters.
Speaking of somebody who's better than both of us combined, and I think very highly of you, but I don't think you'll disagree with this statement here. Mr. Ryan Otley has this Battle Beast book
Oh my
that's coming
gosh.
out,
Yeah.
which he alluded to me at they got this Washington Summer Con here. It was really cool because he reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, you live in Washington, right?" He's like, "Are you going to this con?" I'm like, "That con's literally down 5 minutes down the hill from my house,
Oh,
and if
nice.
you're gonna be there, of course I'll be
Yeah,
there."
but
Yeah. So I went down and yeah, I was kind of picking his brain. Oh, what are you working on after this? And he's like, "Oh, I can't really say, but it's creator owned." And I'm like, it's like probably going to be something to do with Invincible. And he's like, couldn't say anything, because that was my guess, because he's always posting
yeah,
stuff about Invincible. Like you could tell how much he
always.
loved
Oh,
working
no,
on
see.
Invincible and working
Yeah.
with Robert. So I had a
He,
feeling it was going to be something Invincible related. And then to see that it's Battle Beast, one of the best, is like probably my second favorite character in there, because Conquest is like my favorite character.
but yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but Battle Beast is like right there. This is gonna be mind blowing. Some of the teasers he's been posting the past
Oh
couple of
no.
days,
Oh my gosh.
dude.
He's. I'm so happy to see that show blowing up,
Oh man,
the
it's amazing.
success and the attention that comics bringing new readers in, because it's like it was always a big comic, but it was mainly you, and I'm sure you felt like it was just in that comic
Yeah,
dome. Now
yeah,
it's
and
like
it was
reaching
still
out.
like even within the comic world, I think it was still, we could argue that it was underappreciated at the
Oh
time.
yeah, oh yeah,
It is
very
how
much.
great it was.
Yeah. So yeah, it's nice to see the show blow up, and then people I'm friends with that like Marvel DC movies and this and that, but now they're like, oh, that Invincible show is really awesome. It's like, well, you should read the comic book.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's
We're those people, like when people see a movie and to tell you how great it is, and then you go, well, the book was way better. You should
Yeah.
read the book.
Hey, we ain't wrong there though with that.
I'm telling you.
Gosh.
I am very happy with like how true they've stayed to a lot of the scenes
Yeah.
from the book.
I've
Because
not
like I
seen.
watched,
I've not seen the
I don't
newest
want to do
season.
any. Okay, no
I ain't even caught up
spoilers.
with it yet. Well, I know I've
But
read this book,
yeah,
so but yeah.
well, I won't spoil anything for you. But I watched the finale is phenomenal. Like the last two episodes, all the episodes are good, but the last two are amazing. And there's a scene from a very prominent battle in the comic, and I watched a deal where they broke down the what was the same and what was different in
Yeah.
that scene, and they hopped between the panel and the scene in the cartoon.
Okay.
They stayed true to like 98% of it.
Okay.
It was
Yeah.
like seeing Ryan's art come to life in that scene. It was like, oh, I remember when that happened in the book, and so cool.
It's gotta be gotta be the greatest feeling too. That staying
Yeah.
true to it. For him.
Yeah.
Like this. I'm just
And
I'm so happy.
I know Ryan's been excited about it because every day he'll post like some kind of page that
Yeah.
coincides with one of the episodes from this season.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, remember when these guys showed up? Like, oh, here's that page from the book. So
Yep.
you know he's pumped about it too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But yeah, the Battle Beast book. I'm pre-ordered and it's first day. I'm getting that
Me
book. Like,
too. I'm trying to get all the different
gosh.
variants, and hopefully my shop can get them for me. I pre-ordered all of them. I'm like, I gotta have all things Battle Beast, and I think it's cool because it's gonna give, from what I understand, the time period it's set in. Because obviously, I'm gonna do a spoiler for everybody in the audience. If you've read Invincible, you know there's a character that died in Invincible, and the book that's coming out might be named after him. So this probably does not take place after that. Is probably a prequel type of situation.
Yeah.
And I think what's cool about that is now you could do little side things where, because it says
Oh, yeah.
Invincible Universe Battle Beast.
Right.
So, I mean, we could be getting Mark showing up, doing a little side mission, crossing paths with him, whatever.
I didn't even think about that, but really that's the truth,
Oh, yeah.
They can
And the way,
they can tell so much that they
yeah.
want,
And the way Kirkman's brain works, and the way he interconnects things and all that, he's got some of that sprinkled in there.
Got to. Like obviously I don't know anything about the book, but I just wouldn't doubt there's gonna be like a finale or something and Vince will show up. Like something.
Yeah, I would love it.
Like they would be come on.
Yes, sir. Well, listen, Justin, I've taken over an hour of your time today. I really appreciate you coming on. It's always a pleasure to have a conversation with you.
Oh man, it's been a blast. Yeah.
I want to give you a moment to let everybody know where to find you and what to be on the lookout for as far as your upcoming projects and how they can get a hold of you on social media. I know that every now and again when you're not on super tight deadlines, you'll open your commissions list up and all that. And also you got a lot of your original art available. So make sure to let everybody know where they can find that. So the spotlight is yours. Let everybody know.
All right, so just you can find me everywhere, pretty much all social media, just at Justin Mason Art and original art. If you want to find any of that, which I've got plenty of Spider-Punk, Sentinels. That's on essentialsequential.com on their site, and I think their handles on like socials are like at Sequence Art.
Yes,
And
it is.
And then keep an eye out. Let's see, May 24th or 21st, one of them. I can't remember the date exactly, but the thing issue 1 will be dropping. So excited for
Hey,
everybody to check that out.
that's coming up quick, brother.
Yeah, I know. Like they gave me a deadline, and I kind of went way too fast for them. They even said that, so they actually moved up the date. So I was
I
like,
think
all
Battle Beast comes out in May as well.
right. Does it? Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was May or April, but I know it's
I
very
think it's
soon.
May.
May.
I think it's May. Yeah.
Well, hopefully
Well,
we
we
don't go
got
up
some.
against that. You know.
We got some bangers coming out, man. Everybody's gonna be excited.
Yeah, I
Awesome,
can't wait.
brother. Well, listen, everybody go out, support Mr. Justin. He's got some amazing stuff. And I always tell everybody, along with being an amazing artist, he's a great human too. And we want to make sure we support people like that. So go out, show him some love, follow him. Justin, hang out here a moment. I'm going to give my little spiel about everything, and then I'm going to hit that outro.
That sounds good.
Everybody, nobody has reviewed the podcast on Apple Podcasts yet. From what I can see, you could be the first person to go and give us a review. Hopefully it's a 5-star review if you're enjoying the podcast. I would ask that you do that. You could be the first person. If you are the first person and you go do that, I got stickers. I might give you a sticker. I don't have one to hold up because I'm unprepared, but I do have stickers for the podcast now. I'll send you out a sticker if you go on and do that review. Let me know. Reach out to me. You can find us at Nerdy Musings on Instagram, X, aka Twitter, YouTube, all the different places. Go out, show us some love, like, subscribe. And again, make sure to go follow Justin on all the things. Mr. Justin, have a great day, my friend. Hang out with hang out with me for a moment. I'm not even going to edit that part out. All right, everybody, keep it nerdy.